And welcome to an episode of The Long Dark. So I'm Gamer Nan, and I'm going to play a Let's Play with you. The Errant Pilgrim update just came out here in early December. Um, New environments, new animal wildlife threats, a whole new region, um, more crafting abilities. So we're going to begin to look at this. This is probably going to be an intermediate Let's Play. So if you're a beginner or if you are familiar with the Long Dark and maybe you've stepped away for a while or aren't familiar with this recent update or maybe you're struggling with survival, this will be hopefully helpful for you. And if you're one of those Long Dark experts that have put thousands of hours in the game, please feel free to school me in the comments. But we're going to begin on survival mode. Winter Mute is the episodal episodes of The Long Dark, where it's storyline. Survival mode. This is sandbox. This is really what has made Long Dark the Long Dark that we all know and love. Probably one of the greatest um, survival games, in my opinion, that has ever been put out. Um, it's very beautiful visually. The music is incredible. And here we have Pilgrim. It's relatively easy if you're, a toddler or you just want to kind of get in and look around and not have to worry about surviving or not have to worry about the animals, wildlife, or anything like that. This would be the one to go on. For anyone that's looking for any type of challenge, this is going to be boring to you. We have Voyager. If you've never played before and you just kind of want to dip your toes into the water and not have to worry about dying immediately, this would probably be the one for you. There are some survival elements that are challenging, but basically they give you everything you need to survive. And then Stalker, this is going to be the difficulty level we're going to be playing on today. I believe this is the difficulty level that the game was intended to play on. It has the full mix of survivability, of weather, of animal wildlife, everything all rolled into one. In many ways, it's more challenging than the next one. But because this one allows you to find the rifle and definitely the handgun, then it'll open up the Bleak Inlet, which is the newest region in the game, in a way that is actually usable. And you can find the highest level clothing products and axes and knives and all those things are available here. If it's in the game, it can be found on Stalker difficulty level. And then final is Interloper. If you just enjoy punishing survival experiences, this is it. The game is literally out to exploit your weaknesses and then pile it on with an attempt to kill you. Many of us Long Dark players, we come here to kind of evaluate our survivability skills. On this level, the highest clothing products cannot be found. You cannot find the rifle, though you can find the handgun in one of the levels. I have not found it. And you cannot find the axe or the knife. You have to actually craft those. And in the interloper level, the highest clothing products that you're going to get, you're going to actually have to craft. This one is definitely a more punishing environment. But we're going to jump in on Stalker level difficulty. I want a random start. There's only one or two environments that I really don't want to be spawned in. Hush River Valley is one. If we get a random Hush River Valley spawn right off the bat, I will probably just re-roll. But we're going to pray that that's not the case, and we're going to just do a random one. You can either do Mark Meir or Jennifer Hale. These are the voiceover actors that have actually done the voiceover for these characters. You can turn their interaction on and off. I particularly like it. It kind of gives me a heads up on some of my status bars in order to prevent me from missing the fact that I'm starving to death or that I'm about to die of thirst or whatever. It kind of gives you the update. So it's your choice, mix and match. We're going to go with Mark this time. Um, Here is where you add all your active feats. Feats get unlocked as you accomplish certain things within the environment. So I've traveled more than 621 miles in the game. It unlocks this, and there's several more. We got Snow Walker, Free Runner, Fire Master, Efficient Machine, Cold Fusion, and then Book Smarts. With the recent Errant Pilgrim download, we have just gotten 3 new ones, which I have not done yet. This is probably the one that I'm most interested in, is this Blizzard Walker. You spent 20 days outdoors during blizzards. The benefit is speed reduction from walking into the wind is reduced by 25%. If you've played this at all, you know that walking into the wind is inevitable. Anytime you need to go somewhere, that wind will probably be in your face. So to have a 25% reduction in the amount of that it slows you down would be beneficial. But for our Let's Play here, we're going to go vanilla. I'm not going to choose any of them. And we're going to call this World's End. This is indeed what it is. The world seems to be coming to an end due to climate change. But here we go. So a mysterious geomagnetic storm has brought your plane crashing down into the northern Canadian wilderness. How long can you survive? That is an excellent question that we are soon to find out. So, life is an error-making and an error-correcting process. The nature of marking man's papers will grade him in wisdom and measured by both. Not quite fast enough on that downtake. Ooh, we got a very kind of good... This is actually Timberwolf Mountain. And while I wouldn't have particularly chosen to be spawned here, we might can make this work. So Timberwolf Mountain is definitely an environment that you want to visit, but you definitely need to be prepared when you come to Timberwolf Mountain, because you have a large mountain that you have to climb. And we're not going to bother reading that. Please feel free to stop and read them if you'd like. Comment down below if you prefer that I actually read through these things. Help me with my Let's Play game technique. I want this to be an enjoyable event for you, as well as myself. I'm a rather quick, active player, as you'll see. I like to gather everything right off the bat. Ooh, that was kind of nice. Alright, so we have all this firewood, and matches are a definite must. Fires are life in the long dark. If you have no fire, then you are not going to survive long. We are actually not very cold at the moment. Let's see, we are... it's getting late in the evening, but it's not quite dark. Let me see exactly everything it is I picked up. I hear that wolf out there, so we have plenty of matches. I'm going to go ahead and break this down into tinder plugs. And we have a pistol or small arms handbook. We're not going to worry about reading that right now, but it's definitely a good one to have. We have some antiseptic. Our clothes could you definitely use some paying attention to. We only have a candy bar. We do have a couple of flares. These are excellent for combating the wolves. It can at least scare them off. Hacksaw is a necessity, but it's pretty low. And a gun cleaning kit, a rope, which we don't need at the moment. Matter of fact, I may end up leaving it here because we would need it more here than anywhere else right now. And we have some cured leather. Cured leather can help you repair some of your clothing items. So yes, I think the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and download that rope. No sense in carrying it around. that sit there. Let me step outside and see what the temperature is. It seems like it's a really nice day. Yeah, you see the gauge is down at the bottom left. The very first gauge is our internal temperature. You see that it has 3 arrows indicating that the temperature of my body is dropping quickly, mostly due to the lack of clothing that I'm wearing. I have many different fire fuel sources. This is one. Sticks. I would recommend that you not pass them by. You don't have to. Okay. Oop, I see my furry neighborhood friend across the lake there. These are our wolves. Oh, and I think that may be a bear off in the distance over there. So 2 of our natives walking around. So here we have a 9-degree warmth bonus from sleeping in the bed. So I may just sleep for an hour just to get my temperature back up. It didn't go back up very far. We're fully rested, probably because I wasn't rested very long. So another thing that you can do is you can actually pass time. So I'm going to begin to pass time for about an hour. See if we can't get just a little bit more heat bonus before we do set out. I don't feel that there's any reason for us to remain here. Hey, there's a friend there. These are rabbits. You can actually hunt them and skin them and harvest them and eat their meat and use their hides for making things such as hats and gloves. So this moment in time, I'm not going to worry about that. I guess my most pressing issue would just to be get down off of Timberwolf Mountain. It's going to kind of be like out of the fire pan into the fire. Birch bark, you can make tea with that, but leaving Timberwolf Mountain, you actually enter into another environment that is, shall we say, not the nicest environment in the game of the Long Dark. And by not the nicest, I mean a horrible, terrible place that no one should ever go ever. Although they have added more loot areas, more points of interest. So you kind of got to weigh your options on whether or not the risk is worth the reward. Oftentimes for me, going to Timberwolf Mountain or the next environment, Pleasant Valley is what it's called, it's almost like a death sentence. You just kind of get sucked in and you're unable to get freed from that environment. But it's definitely going to be staying here. While I could have hung out here for a day or so, being as the weather is nice, I'm just going to utilize this as an opportunity to just go ahead and get off this mountain and get down into a new environment that is a little bit more survivable. So yeah, I'm going to continue to collect my sticks and push out this way. These are stones. These can actually be picked up and thrown, mostly at the rabbits. You can knock them out and then rush up to them and grab them, and we'll experience that together, hopefully soon enough. They can be thrown at wolves and do have the potential to scare the wolves off, but most generally it's never been effective for me. I always end up getting eaten by a wolf, so I just prefer to either avoid the wolves or to have a different type of weapon other than a little small stone to throw at them. So continuing on, we see that our internal temperature meter is in the red. At this point in time, the long bar with the heart down below it, which is your actual overall health meter, is beginning to decline. While the temperature meter will not kill you, if it causes your overall health meter to decline to 0, you will die. So this is the one that you're really looking forward to. And then going from left to right, the very next meter with the eyeball is our fatigue. As you begin to tire, you begin to not be able to carry as much. And if it hits the red, it'll also begin to deteriorate your lifeline, though not as quickly as the weather. And then we have our hydration meter. This is determining how well satiated you are. That is probably one of the meters, other than the weather, that will kill you the fastest. You cannot survive very long without drinking fluids. And then last meter would be our caloric intake meter, or our reserve, I guess you would say, of calories donated by the stomach. So that is probably one area that would kill you at least slow. You need, I'm going to step off here and grab these. You need calories in order to regain health. So while you may not die due to starvation quickly, you cannot regain health if you do not have calories in your stomach. Let's see where we're at. See if there's anything in here that can provide us some relief. I am not warming up. There's a minimal amount of lantern fluid in here. Another hacksaw. Probably not the best find. I'll take it.
This'll come.
Leather shoes. We need a pry bar in order to open this. And then more leather shoes. So unless you have a dinner party to go to, leather shoes are not the best find in the world. I will take that in our storm lantern just in case it has more fuel in it. Nothing. So at this point on, early on, I recommend that you grab absolutely everything. There's not much that you are going to find at this moment in time that you don't need. And you have plenty of encumbrance space to not have to worry about being encumbered. So it doesn't look like I'm going to get the mother load in here. Do it again.
I could use this.
Tea. Tea is a great source of regaining your overall health. You get a better night's sleep due to it. It also provides, if you drink it while it's hot, a warmth benefit for being outside to protect you against the cold a little bit better. Plus, it does provide a few calories for you. At this moment in time, let me see, we're about, it's going to be dark soon. So I think what I'm going to do is just make some water. It just sounds like a storm is about to blow in. There's no sense in trying to run for it, I don't think. So we're going to start a fire. We're going to boil some water and see if we can't sleep till morning. We're not extremely tired now. That's one of the things about the game spawn in the very beginning. It can spawn you close to nighttime. It can spawn you anytime throughout the day, but it spawns you close to nighttime,
It worked.
and you are wide awake. So you really do not have the option to go to sleep. We've got plenty of sticks now, just to make it difficult for you to get some rest right off the bat. So we're going to start. We're going to make some water. I don't think I have another container. I do not. And let's see. Well, I could read that, but let me actually take a look at some of my other inventory. We have 2 of those. Let me go ahead and tear that down. Give me a few more tinder plugs. So we're good on that. We could use, before I go that route, make bandages, which are necessary. We only have 1 cloth, so I'm thinking it's probably more important to put that 1 cloth into preparing one of these items. Into making bandages. We're definitely not going to change that. However, we do not have a hat, which would put us in danger of getting frostbite if we stay out within this environment for too long. I'm going to make some more water. Very windy out, so I just don't think that it's going to be necessarily the environment that I want to go anywhere in. I'm going to put a little bit more fuel on the fire in order to warm this up some, so that I will stop losing health. That's one of the dangers of doing commentary. You kind of lose track of the fact that you are probably not watching everything as closely as you should be watching it. I was standing there losing health as I was talking to you guys. Some of you were probably saying, "Hey, you're dying, right?" But it's all part of it, especially being a new commentator as I am. Something that I'm going to have to learn over time. So we'll take that, and then we have enough time. We'll go ahead and make just a little bit more. No sense in wasting the fire. And yep. So right now we're at the point where we could possibly sleep through the night. So this is about a 12-hour meter. So straight up and down is just like a clock. This is probably a 6-hour time frame, give or take. And with this amount of time that we have left in the night, right, it's probably about 6 hours in and of itself in order to sleep all the way through the night. So we're going to go ahead and finish up this water. Take it. That gives us 4/10 of a gallon. The wind's died down. Maybe it didn't die down. I'm going to go ahead and take a torch and we're going to go ahead and get back inside. Alright, being back inside, at this point in time, I think the best thing to do is just go ahead and sleep through the night. So we're going to put that out, save the remainder of that torch. 29 degrees plus a 9-degree bed bonus, so we have plenty with which to stay warm at least through the majority of the night. So we're going to make sure that we are fed and then topped off on fluid. Now, some individuals are what are called min-maxers. They try to put forth the minimum amount of effort to receive the maximum amount of benefit. That is not the play style with which I play with. Um, so they might tell you, don't eat. Go ahead and save that. Um, but there's a new benefit that's been out for a couple of patches now that's called a well-fed buff. If you have not allowed your stomach to reach the starvation point or fall into the red for 3 days, you gain an extra 10% on your life, and you gain an extra 11 pounds on your overall carrying capacity. Now, at any point in time, if you allow your stomach to hit empty, you will lose that buff. But it was definitely a way to encourage people to keep food in their belly. So I've kind of adopted that behavior. On Interloper, I may do a little different, but here on Stalker, we shouldn't have too much of a problem feeding ourselves. So here's this daylight timer. So once one of these side triangles hits about halfway, you can begin to do the things that require light, which may be repairing items, reading books, things of that nature, some crafted items. Once the horizontal triangles reach about halfway, it is technically daylight. However, the morning period in the long dark is some of the coldest times. It's unless you absolutely have to, or if it's an exceptional day, you probably don't want to do a whole lot of outdoor traveling within the first few hours of daybreak. So while we are fully rested, we cannot sleep anymore. What we can do is we can pass time. Now, passing time causes a higher calorie burn. You see that that's 100 per hour, where that is 60 per hour. It can be beneficial to go ahead and allow time to pass. We don't really have anything that we need to do right now, though we could read for an hour, I guess, being as it is right at daylight. So let's see, maybe I'll just read my book for an hour to get some of my skill points up. And a little breezy outside. Instead of reading anymore, I want to check out my clothing situation. See what is really worse. These are bad. Those are bad. So yeah, our clothing situation is really bad. As your clothing deteriorates, the warmth and other bonuses that it gives you begin to decline as well. However, only having one piece of cloth, we are kind of limited on what it is that we can do. You can tear these down. Let me see exactly how long it would take to harvest one of these. An hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, let's go ahead and harvest one. Give it a little bit more time to pass. It sounds like that wind's calming down a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and top off all my fluid. And we're going to poke our head out of this poker and just kind of see what is happening on the outside. Okay, well, not too terribly bad. Right now, we definitely have to move. Here we have some old man's beard and lichen. This can be used as an antiseptic if you happen to get infected from a wolf bite or a bear or something like that. If you've received an infection, you could actually craft antiseptic wound bandages for that purpose. Yeah, I don't know if I really want to head off right now, so I'm liable to just dip back inside for a small amount of time. See if it won't warm up
Cold is
just
making my
a
head
little bit.
feel thick.
Before we head down the mountain, just for a little while. Or what we could do is we could get over here, we could start us another fire and make a tea. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in.
Never felt so cold in my life.
Oh, don't worry. Give it time. You'll feel even worse than that, I'm sure. This is the long dark. So we're going to go ahead and sleep for an hour. Regain some of our fatigue and warm up just a little bit instead of standing out there freezing. So we've got that going. Maybe it's warmed up a little bit outside. It's still going to be massively cold. We are in the northern Canadian wilderness. Very unhospitable environment when you're basically wearing nothing but underwear, it seems like. So we're going to go ahead and start us another fire. Do not want to use my birch bark. I want to save that. If we could start that, that would be fine. So I got a whole new system basically for Christmas time, and I'm kind of getting used to it, and you know, starting my commentary. And
Too cold to think.
please comment down below if maybe something doesn't look right or something doesn't sound right, and I'll do my best to adjust. But right now we're going to cook some herbal tea. It's not quite warm enough. Let's add us a little bit more fuel so that we're overcoming the ambient. Nope, let's not do that. So that we're overcoming the ambient outdoor temperature. Let's see how that'll go. Coal is absolutely great for these environments. I need one more stick just to break the 32 mark so that I can begin to warm up. We'll actually do just a couple more so that I actually begin to warm up at a little bit higher rate. 3 minutes till ready. We're going to go ahead and drink that. That's going to warm us up some. It's also going to get us a warmth barrier so that we don't quite lose our internal heat quite as fast. We're going to go ahead and cook another tea while we wait here. And I'm just going to take that. That will remain warm in my inventory for a moment. Having these teas in your pocket will definitely make it easier when you're crossing cold terrain. We are out of water. Let's go ahead and, just for the sake of not dying of thirst, go ahead and take that. We're going to pick this up. And let's see, that's still hot. That is not. We're going to go ahead and warm that up. And just to make sure that it's got its full warmth, we're going to warm those up. So warm it up, take it. While there's still 2 hours and 20 minutes on this fire, we are going to leave. Sounds okay out. We are going to use this torch. It'll help warm us up a little bit, though it's not a great deal. And we are just basically trying to get off of this part of the mountain that we are in. There's a deer way off in the distance. we don't have anything to bring him down with.
All I can think about is food.
I know it. We're working on it. You have enough for a little while. And pick up a few more along the way. I know I'm passing some, but right now I would prefer to get where I'm trying to get without freezing to death. And hopefully not running into any of our furry friends. So some of the most fun that you're going to have being a long dark player is just starting off, not knowing where you're at or where to go, to be in the midst of a situation where you may be freezing or starving or dying of thirst or whatever, and you just don't know even which direction to go. You get a sense of the game that's different from us that have kind of familiarized ourselves with the maps a little bit and kind of got a fairly good idea of where it is we're trying to get. We are actually trying to get down in that direction over there. You must be very careful when you're coming down inclines like this. You see the red sloped sign on the right hand side. That indicates that you are now on a surface that has the potential to sprain you. Sprains can be very inconvenient in the long dark, to say the least. They cause pain, which blur your vision. They can prevent you from using weapons or torches or the like if it's a wrist. It can hobble you to where you cannot hardly move. They've tweaked this
Can't feel my feet.
system some, though I still am not a really big fan of it. Though I understand that it is necessary, it is needed. We are doing what some commentators, including one of my favorite Hadrian, calls skyrimming. We are basically climbing down cliffs that we ordinarily shouldn't be able to. But you get into crouch mode and then you just begin to take it slow. We have just received our first frostbite risk. Frostbite is an affliction that is, there's a Mr. Deer, that if you do get frostbite, it gives a permanent health restriction that is not regainable. I think it is 10% that your health line is permanently 10% affected. We are passing many of our needed supplies. Cat, and there's Mr. Bear. We will go a different direction. It is not that important. Bears, while not likely to kill you in your first encounter, unless you're already in a weakened state, they will destroy clothing. They will probably cause you to bleed a lot, and will take your health down probably at least to about 80% loss. And there's no outrunning bears, and unless you have a rifle and make an incredibly good shot, they will get to you. There is one particular tool that can be used, and it's not a torch. You can kind of scare off wolves with torches and flares and stuff. Those will not deter a bear. But if you have a flare gun, which can be achieved in the game, those will actually scare a bear off, and can actually be fatal if you shoot the bear with them. So But at this moment in time, we are going to leave Smokey alone. Okay, so we're just around 30 minutes now into this recording. I'm going to try to keep my episodes right around 25 minutes or so, give or take a couple of minutes. I think that's an enjoyable viewing time. So we're going to get inside here, hopefully without any incident, and we're going to cut this first episode. So I hope that you begin to see how I am not afraid to make myself a little bit silly. And, you know, go through this whole survival experience together. Now that we've kind of made it down out of our initial area that we could just not sit there, we would have died, and we've made it down to a little bit lower level where we can actually begin to scavenge and actually survive. We're going to do that. So picking up next time, we're going to go ahead and begin to scavenge this barn and begin to go through our inventory, see what it is that we can do, and then let's jump in here because it should be, yep, warm enough in here. And then we will begin to hopefully survive. So I thank you for watching this episode of The Long Dark. If you liked it, please give it that thumbs up. And if you'd like to be a part of Nan Gaming Nation, please hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to send you out notifications every time I upload another episode of The Long Dark. And thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.